Look at this book. I bought it years ago because I'm fascinated with the idea of colors and how they make you feel. And for me, this book was useless. Now, this book is all about colors going together, and yes, that's a huge part of color theory, but I was just dumb getting this book, especially because we as authors don't get the luxury of even using colors in our art like a painter or a designer or a filmmaker. Or do we? I've spent the past 8 months putting together this video, researching color theory for writers, and wow, did I find some good stuff. Let me, not this book, let me tell you about colors, why they're powerful writing tools, and how you can use them in any genre to make your reader feel more. When we think about color in writing, if you're anything like me, you think of rolling your eyes back in class, back in school, because the teacher's telling you that the author wrote about blue drapes and that symbolized what? His sadness, his depression, his longing for blah, blah, blah. And if that was your experience, like mine, then you also might have completely written off how powerful color can be in your novel. But that's just a jaded approach to colors in writing. Let's start with the facts. Color has meaning. Simple fact. Why are stop signs red? Why does green mean go? Why are wedding dresses white? Why do Darth Vader, Voldemort, and Sauron wear black? Color has meaning. We have given colors meaning. If I show you this picture, a landscape, how does this make you feel? Well, when I look at this, I can imagine the heat waves in the air, the dry heat that makes my skin tingle under the harsh sunlight, the hellscape that is Phoenix, Arizona. Sorry, Phoenix. Now, let me shift the colors of this image. What about now? When I look at this picture, now I imagine the temperature dropping. I imagine the air damp with dew. I imagine a reprieve from the heat. And all I did to this image was shift the colors, nothing else. Now you might be saying, hey, wait a minute, Carson. You're just saying blue is cold and red is hot. And I am, because we as humans have associated color with temperature because of what we've witnessed in nature. Color, temperature, they have a shared meaning, a shared language, and so do other things. So why should you care? Authors should always be pursuing meaning in their writing. And as you become a more experienced author, you'll find that you inject meaning in more complex ways. Your story will have color in it regardless of whether or not you are purposefully choosing those colors to create an atmosphere for your story. Grass will be green, the skies will be blue, someone's wearing a white and gold dress. White and gold, right? So you should care about color because this is one more conscious decision you get to make to manipulate the reader's experience in your novel. And if you're not doing that, you're not growing as a writer. Now, how does this work in fiction? Because color has a psychological effect, writers have always used it to reinforce themes or foreshadow upcoming events. Let's look at a movie, for example. How about Star Wars? Star Wars uses the white and black good versus evil motif in a very conventional way. Luke Skywalker wears white. Obi-Wan Kenobi wears white, and beige counts as white in this argument. And Darth Vader and the Empire wear black. Now, don't talk to me about stormtroopers because that part just confuses me. Okay. It's pretty similar in books too, and a great example of this would be The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Do you ever wonder why, out of all things, the letter is scarlet? The color of blood associated with sin and passion and excitement and lust. The Chartreuse Letter would have been a very different book. Scarlet made sense for the book. Scarlet, red, goes with the themes of the book. Now here's the thing. When it comes to this conversation about color in literature, it feels very easy to pull from old literature. But most of us are writing modern fiction. and things have changed. In fact, trends in color have changed over time. Check this out. In 1859, the color mauve, this is mauve, was synthesized into a dye for the first time and made commercially available. And following that, the color exploded into fiction in a very significant way. Usually it was correlated with modernity or high class, the people who would have the most access to this new exciting color of dye. And then over time, that kind of petered out. Now this chart, I find this chart to be really interesting. This is a strange era in literature where the color yellow dominated fiction. And by sheer coincidence, I bought this book the other week that I've always wanted to read, The King in Yellow, written by Robert Chambers and published in 1895, right near the peak of the yellow craze. And even on top of that, right off the dome, I know one of my favorite short stories, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Gilman, was published in 1892. Yellow was all around. But you can see that the use of yellow fell off over time. But in the 1890s, it was the color of modern style. There was even this extremely influential quarterly release at this time called The Yellow Book that shook public opinion and can be found in references throughout multiple famous books at the time, like Oscar Wilde's Picture of Dorian Gray, where the Yellow Book plays a significant role in corrupting Dorian into a life of pleasure and debauchery. Is that how you say that word? But all of that color, look, that's in the past. Those are past trends. That's boring. I'm writing a lit RPG, gritty superhero series. I don't care about that old stuff. How do we use color in modern fiction? Color continues to build on the expectations and the existing notions that readers have. N.K. Jemisin, one of the most talented modern fiction writers in my opinion, injects their world of earth tones and browns and grays with flashes of red warnings throughout this entire series. Entire genres have even been built on the use of specific colors. Cyberpunk sets itself apart from other genres of science fiction by combining the grime of futuristic cities, those drab grays and browns, with neon colors, combining something familiar to us and something unique in a wholly singular experience. And horror writers like Stephen King rely on the crimson color of blood to create unease in the readers. Whether it's a red balloon floating through the library or elevator doors releasing a torrent of blood into the hallway. And through the purposeful use of the color red, Stephen King creates foreboding and tension by only referencing the color when terrible things are about to happen. He creates a trigger in the reader to note that when red is present, well, that manipulates the way that you react to his writing. I call that author attention. Yes, red as a color shows up in many environments. Duh. But as an author, you control the prevalence of that color in your descriptions that you write. By only reserving the color red for moments before action or horror, the reader becomes primed to connect these two things. And while I'm giving you examples from Stephen King, this is genre agnostic. Great writers are doing this all over the place. Look at me. Any fiction genre, any writer can benefit from color theory. Now that's modern fiction's use of color, but color symbolism has always existed. But modern writers are purposefully using color in new and exciting ways. Sometimes it's by using the symbolism that our readers already have internally regarding the color. Sometimes it's taking a color and making it a writing tool like Stephen King. And to me, that's the sign of an author who really knows their craft. So with all that being said, how do we do it? Let me give you a couple tips. First, let's take the idea of unifying a palette. Now this is a term from the painting world. Not every painting is done with pure reds and blues and yellows that come straight out of the tube. So here's what some painters do. If I'm painting something particularly moody, I might prepare my palette and then choose a unifying color, something that's really representative of the feel I'm going for. Then I mix equal parts of that color with my other paints, and this shifts all of the colors closer to that unifying color. Now when I paint, that mood is injected into every color that I choose. That makes everything feel more cohesive. And we can do that with our writing too, by choosing the right colors to include. Not everything is blue and green and red. Expanding your color vocabulary means that you can write colors that carry more specific emotional meaning. If you're writing something moody and atmospheric, maybe that means referencing the sky as gray instead of blue. Maybe it means the sunlight is more golden than yellow. Maybe it means that maybe it means that the character's eyes aren't green, they're the color of a stormy sea. Which leads to my next tip. You don't always even need to name the color. Using imagery in your writing is a great way to invite the reader to plug in their own colors and extra meaning to your story. Using metaphor and visual elements in your descriptions creates an involvement by the reader that's really powerful. We may not all picture the color of a stormy sea the same way, but now the reader is injecting their own experience into the story. They are participating. And the second biggest takeaway, use everything in moderation. And I really mean this. Use color in meaningful ways and sparingly. Don't wildly pull out strange colors that make the reader have to look up what the hell olivine actually looks like, or Delft blue, or folly red. Sometimes you don't even need to mention the color, right? Calling the forest lush implies that it's green. Mentioning the draping ivy and moss implies green. A dandelion is yellow, a yellow dandelion, just excessive. Does that sound pretentious? It sounds pretentious to me. Finally, the biggest takeaway, use color intentionally. Whether you're using it to describe the setting and build atmosphere, associate colors with specific characters, or use this pre-existing symbolism in a meaningful way, use it intentionally. Color in your writing is a great way to turn something mundane into something meaningful and to direct readers' attention. A book on the table is nothing to the reader. A yellow book on the table gives just enough detail that the reader pays attention. Don't waste it. Color can be used to manipulate the reader, to create tension from seemingly innocent details, to tie meaning to characters or locations. You can even reserve the use of certain colors to certain factions in your story. All of these things are intentional decisions that strengthen your writing. What are some of your favorite uses of colors in books? I'd love to see some great examples in the comments below. Is there another topic that you would like to see a deep dive into? Let me know. Subscribe to the channel for more writing content, helping you become a stronger writer. Come join us over at the Discord with over 500 knowledgeable writers who are just as interested in story as you are. It's so much fun. And as always, thank you for watching.